Kennedy Helberg, I'd love to hear your experience of just completing our social media management and marketing training over Zoom through NC State.
So I'm Kennedy Helberg. I work for an environmental cleanup company on the East Coast named First Call Environmental. I run their social media, and they were kind of the main reason I took this class. I have been on social media since I was in high school and stuff, like know how to post and kind of just do the basics on it. But coming into this class, I didn't really realize how much more you could do, whether that's for the business that you work for or for yourself. I was able to create a personal account for my photography and have actually kind of like blown up a little bit more than I thought I would. I thought I would have like 5 or 10 followers that were like my parents and my friends. But since using that and posting on it, and I haven't even paid for ads or anything with it yet, but just from using like the tools that I learned in this class, I've gained a pretty good amount of followers in the past like month that it's been up. And I've booked a lot more jobs than I kind of ever planned for. So that was exciting. And then as far as social media goes in like the business world and with my full-time career with First Call's social media, I have recently been keeping track of kind of how we have gained engagement and how we've grown in the past few months. And when you look at like the graphs that I have and stuff, the specific change and like where we kind of skyrocket in followers and in engagement is when I started this class. So using the tools from this class, learning how to boost posts and make ads, which I always thought was the same thing, and it's not. It's been really cool to kind of see the growth, and I'm excited to see what's in store as we continue to utilize the tools and strategies that I learned in this class.
Well, it's been fantastic having you in the class, because yours is an example of how many people have done this class. When they're working for a very large company, sometimes if they do a project that's more personal and specific, they'll be able to control more and then transfer it over to the business. And that's what happened with this. So it was a real win-win relationship. We've had a number of people where that worked better for them, where they were in your size business or even larger, where they're not going to just let them learn on their own, but they had some side project or volunteer project, and they made that their project and their capstone presentation where they wove both of them in. And I think that's such a great example of applying the skills well, and also just the interaction between the participants. I think in this class, you win the award for the furthest. So tell people in relationship to Raleigh, North Carolina, where you're located.
So currently I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I do have plans to move in about a month, though, out to Richmond, Virginia. So I will be a lot closer to you guys. But yes, I was very far away. I was taking the class in Minneapolis. But I also think that's the cool part about the class. You can be anywhere. I mean, you could have somebody taking this on the West Coast, and it would it's not, that's the cool thing about social media, is it can keep everybody together no matter where you are in the world. But also the cool thing about this class is how like flexible and versatile it is to work into like a day-to-day life, no matter where you are. So.
And that's one of the things we love. We used to be just in person, and then the pandemic hit and we went online, and we found we can reach more. We have more diverse students in it. We've had them from Boston, Atlanta, and since it's 1 to 4 in the afternoon, that will let somebody on the West Coast still participate.
If you're in charge, excuse me, of your company's social media, and your company is committed to growing, it's 1 day of the week. So it's really like a good investment of time, especially with how much you learn and the connections you build. It's super nice to have access to some of the people that were in my class, and to have the monthly meetings on the first Wednesday of every month is also super nice, because if you get stumped on something, or you're like at just kind of a plateau in your social media, you're able to go join that group, talk to them and be like, does anybody have any ideas to help me? And you have a whole community of people that are ready to reach out and give opportunities and like options of things that they've done. So it's really cool to just build those connections and have access to those people. There's people like Robin who visited that you can reach out to and get support from as well. So it's the networking of this class alone is also super helpful.
Yeah, that's what I wanted, is to have something that builds a community that lasts long beyond the class. And that's where we offer free for no charge after the class, ongoing once a month, a lunch and learn, 11:30 to 12:30. Now, if you're in another time zone, most people still on the West Coast, 11:30, they can get into office and be able to join still. So it still addresses that. And then we have open discussion. What's going on? What's changing? Just like in our class, ChatGPT and AI just exploded. So we integrated it real time into the class. Now it's going to be a permanent fixture, but we're always adapting the class to what's changing in the community, but also leaving room for the participants, because every class has a different dynamics. It's like a different bell curve or their skill level, so that we can fill in the gaps and address what they need. I also really enjoy that we offer some one-on-one meetings with people. That's been really exciting too.
That was super helpful, because that one-on-one time, just because you're able to kind of iron out things that you're stuck on. I know I was struggling with like the search engine optimization, the SEO of everything. And I was like, I don't even know where to start with this, but my company wants me to do stuff with this. So it was super nice, even though we covered it in class, to be able to have that like 2 extra hours, just like completely uninterrupted, with you and I working on our company's website and what we can do to benefit and better that SEO aspect of things. So I think that's super helpful as well.
Yeah, that I enjoy, because I get to know the individuals we do the one-on-one on, and then I can dial the class in more to them specifically. And what we found is employers love it, because they know where their employees are. Some are doing them working out of the office and joining us, and some are doing it in other ways. And people are fully self-employed. If they have their own business, well, they just like block that time out and they work their clients around it. So it's worked out as a very optimum time for us. The other exciting thing is there are programs that are thousands of dollars. And I like this because someone who is self-employed could afford this and get a certificate from state in social media management and marketing. The other thing, Kennedy, that I take a lot of pride in is not giving a lot of academic busy work in the class. And did you notice how well people did in the
Yes.
capstone project? I mean,
Yes.
they really knocked it out of the park. And some people believe you have to give them massive amounts of little academic busy work. And I think that's real disrespectful personally for busy people. We had fantastic presentations at the end, didn't we?
We really did. And I personally, like, coming from, so before I started this career, I was a teacher. So the whole busy work thing has always been a sore spot for me, because I've always hated it. I think it's so crucial to like utilize your time efficiently and appropriately, especially if you're a small business owner and you're running your own business.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the people in my class were working full time.
Yep.
Like that's kind of what our class was. It was either people working full time or full-time small business owners. So either way, both of those options, those people are crunched for time no matter what. They're all busy, they're all working. So the fact that there wasn't a bunch of like just random fill this out, do this homework was super nice. I felt like everything that was assigned to us was useful and made sense. And the fact that you guys provide the documentation for us to look over what we have to do in the class, and then it's almost like a pace yourself. You guys kind of help with the pacing initially, but then from kind of the middle of the class to the end, you can kind of pace yourself. You can go back, you can redo things, you can adjust things. And I really appreciated that about the class, because some weeks are super busy and some weeks are super laid back in my profession. So being able to not have to stress about homework, but knowing that everything I'm doing is leading up to something that is important and something that's going to be helpful was awesome.
Yeah, I love that. And then we open each time. The other thing is, what did you learn in the field? We do push. We push that people have to be on the court doing something. You can't just hide out. You have to play on the court, and we make it real easy. I mean, you could, review a restaurant or something like that. So it's not overly demanding, but you need to get your hands dirty. That's one of the things.
It's
and
so
then
easy to do. Like
I know.
When I had to do reviews, I was like, oh, I just went to this new restaurant with my friends the other night, so I'll review that. We checked out a new brewery in town, so I'll review that. And then I bought like 3 different things from 3 different websites, so I reviewed those. So like it's all super easy and makes sense. And then there's people who are getting offers from class to like do Amazon reviewing and stuff because they're doing such a good job with their reviews.
Yeah.
So you can almost like turn some of your assignments into like a cool side hustle.
Yeah. And what it does is it forces you to look through the customer's perspective. Like I say, if you're asking people to give you reviews online and you aren't doing it, you have no business asking. So we really get you to shift and learn different perspectives. And we see disasters in marketing where they didn't do their homework in knowing who their customer is and who their customer isn't, and what will keep their base before they go to a new base. And this is core to the training, is learning to see from your customer's perspective.
Well, and that's so helpful too, because I didn't go into this with any idea of who I wanted to serve as a photographer and like what community I would offer my services to. So being able to go through the class and identify like, currently I work full time. I want this to be a side hustle. So taking on a bunch of weddings isn't going to be a useful option for me. So I'm focusing on family photos and portraits and like smaller photography gigs, but also being an affordable photographer for different communities. So it's super nice to identify who your client is. And it's so much more useful than you like really think, because I know Karen mentions in one of the classes, like your client can't be everybody. People will say, oh, well, I'm here to serve everybody. But realistically, you're not.
No. Who can you serve? Who can you not serve as well? And who would be future clients? The famous triangle we bring up as well.
Exactly. So it doesn't seem like something you would think about, and it doesn't necessarily seem super important. But once you get to that point of like identifying personas and people that you would serve, you realize how important it is in your marketing and in your social media that you're doing.
Another thing I enjoy is people learning how to keep up with the field. That's something we weave into it, because I describe this world like being on an island with random earthquakes, changing its terrain all the time. And you have to act like you know where you're going and what's going on. And how do you manage this dynamically shifting world? And that's kind of a background infused in making sure that you stay grounded and okay, all right, now there's a new platform. Do I need to learn it? How much do I need to learn it? Or do I need to just get an essence so if my boss asks about it, I can answer it and dig deeper if needed? And that's something I really take pride in, because the personal core confidence that you build when you learn these skills is so important. Because I grew up where, you had a bicycle and you could learn everything about it. I could open the hood of my car and point to everything. Now I have an electronic bicycle and I can't explain all that's going on. That's the world we live in today. And it's wonderful, because I see this benefit younger people and then more mature adults that are in the class as well, to understand how to handle this.
Well, yeah, it was super cool. And like the class, like the weekly assignment that we have of keeping up with social media is so helpful, because there were so many examples of that during our class. Like you had mentioned earlier, our class was like the one where kind of AI really blew up all of a sudden. So looking at that and then talking as a class and being able to kind of use some of that flex time that you and Karen schedule in to discuss like what you can use AI for. And it's so cool that you can like, which I would have never known this unless I was taking this class, but like, it's so cool that you can use AI to help you with like branding ideas. You can use it to help you with post ideas. We're getting to a point once it kind of figures out the faces and the hands of things that you can use it for photos and graphics, which is super cool and beneficial. But again, like I wouldn't have known that or known how to make my life easier using that without this class. So it is super nice that we're kind of like forced to be aware of it all and everything changing within the social media aspect, but it also pays off so much because you have time to learn with people who are also learning, and you get ideas from other people. I remember Ruthie like had so many random ideas that she was able to throw in about it because she had spent time on it. So it was super cool and super beneficial. Yeah.
And then the last is just learning to handle minimizing liability risks for a business, because you're one of a number of people who grew up with social media, but you know what you post personally on Facebook, you don't want to damage your career, but it's not like it couldn't lead to direct lawsuits of the company, so that we weave that into it and say, start thinking in terms of consequences, liability risk, exfoliation. You know, what happens legally if somebody says, take down that stuff on Facebook, an attorney told us to do it, and how you better be careful in doing that, or you're going to be named on that lawsuit if you don't do it. So understanding at a employee level, but also managing the responsibility of the reputation of the business. That's why businesses that just get anyone to manage their front end reputation that hasn't have training could have some real liability risk. And that's something we work to integrate into the course, so you have that competency.
Yeah, and that competency is crucial for the my full-time job for the social media within that, but also being able to learn about my like creative rights as a photographer and what I do and don't own on social media, and the fact that just because I've posted it on social media and it doesn't have a watermark doesn't mean anybody else can use it. So having that insight and having people who are able to explain that in a like far more in-depth and easy to understand way is super helpful, because it's like a lot more important, and it's going to continue to be important as social media and digital marketing in general kind of really continues to grow. Yeah.
Well, how can they learn more about you? I'll put your LinkedIn profile below, because I know from class you've updated it.
Yes, they can follow me on LinkedIn. As far as my photography goes, they can follow me at Helb Photography or Helb Photo on Instagram. And then they can also always check out what First Call Environmental is up to, what kind of environmental spills and responses we're doing at First Call Enviro on Instagram and on Facebook. So,
you know, I really learned to love the company you work for too. I mean, they're a major service in truly doing the right thing in cleaning up environmental spills. I hear things in the news every day and I go, they need to call you guys. So I'll put their link in below, but it must be wonderful working for a company that really makes a difference in not just the dollars and cents, but the communities.
It's awesome to see. And it's awesome to hear about kind of what our different offices are able to respond to and what they're able to do. We just had our South Carolina office on a diesel tanker rollover. And kind of the unique thing with this rollover was that they ended up having to drill into the like barrel of it, which isn't always frequent, but it's really cool to see our guys responding to those things and just absolutely crushing their work and doing a good job. Our like kind of motto when we get on scene is no matter what, no matter who's paying, what we do and don't know, our first job on scene is to protect the environment. We will always protect the environment and establish that, and then we will move forward in things. So yeah, it's cool to be a part of a company that does that and that is able to remove a bunch of stuff throughout the year that isn't supposed to be in the environment. So
Excellent. Well, thanks. This was terrific.
Thank you. It was
That's all I need.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
it. That's it. You got it.
Perfect.
Then we'll
I didn't know if
straight
you
back
needed me
and
to
cut to
respond or not.
it. It was great. We don't need any more. You did great. So
Awesome.
please stay in touch. If you need anything, let me know. And if you let's make sure I get all those links correct to put them in the text.
Yeah,
So
I'll
get
send
this
you an
edited
email with
over the next week. Yeah, email them, and this will be up within a week.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll send you an email with all the proper links and everything because
Good.
I can never remember them like right off of my head.
I know. No, you did great. You did great. Please stay in touch, and we'll see you hopefully next month at the lunch meeting.
Thank you. Would you be able to send me Robin's email too? I wrote it down initially.
Let's do this right now real quick, okay?
Yeah, I wrote it down initially, but I think I wrote it down wrong, and I do want to reach out to her about
problem. Let's get that handled right now, and then all right. Wait, I'll get it. Come on, little computer. I got too many windows open as usual. Good. It's easy because it's Robin Whirling. So I'm going to copy it for you, and then I'll make sure to send it through the meeting link. Okay. So we'll get it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's it. So it's her full name at gmail.com.
Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. Well, stay in touch. If you have a problem reaching her, she's real busy. Ping me again as well.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
All right. Take care. See you.
Good to see you again. Bye.